Hello, my baritone horn players. Mr. Fitz here in my basement. And notice the sign that I have behind me that says trombone and baritone horn rocks, because you guys do. Gotta tell you, this is the best sounding lower brass section I've had in years. So you guys keep up the good work. So right now we're doing line number 56. I'm going to play it for you first. Actually, I got to warm it with my mouthpiece. Right. So I'm going to play it for you first, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, here goes. Line 56. 1, 2, 3, go. All right, it's a cool piece. Your goal is to be able to play along with me on that, by the end of your lesson week, if not sooner. All right. Now, talking about this has really cool things in it called slurs. And if we read on the top of the page, it says slur, a curved line that connects two or more notes of different pitches. Now, we've had a curved line before that connects two notes of the same pitch. And I wonder if you remember what that is called. Hint, hint. And that's right, that's the tie. All right, so a slur and a tie are pretty closely related. The difference is that when you have a slur, it's between two different pitches. The way they're similar, though, is that the air continues through the sound. Okay, there's no breaking of the sound. All right, now, if we look at our first measure, you notice you have an E flat with a curved line connecting it to a D. And actually, before we get to that, the time signature is marked with a C. All right, and if you're not sure what that means, I want you to pause the video and look back a few pages. Okay, so hopefully you figured out that that C stands for common time, which equals 4/4 time. And 4/4 time means top number tells us the number of beats per measure, 4. Bottom number tells us that the quarter note receives 1 beat. Okay, so we got that. Now, we have two half notes. How long are half notes? Well, if a quarter is 1, then a half has to be 2, which I know you probably knew already, but that's the logic behind it. So altogether, those two notes equal how many beats? Two half notes equal 4 beats. But they are two different pitches. So what it is, it's like this. When we're playing that measure, we're playing a whole note with the first 2 beats being on E flat and the next 2 beats being on D, just like this. All right, let me tap my foot louder. Okay, and that's kind of the key thing about it. If you look at the second measure, you've got a quarter note E flat, which is 1 beat. And then you change to a D, which is 1 beat, and then you switch back to an E flat for 2 more beats, total of 4 beats. So again, you're blowing the air as if it's a whole note, except that the first beat's E flat, the second beat's D, and the third and fourth beat are E flat again. Like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Now, that's the idea behind it. Now, what I want to do right now is talk to you about the strategy for learning this song. All right, and this works for any song, which is great. First thing you do is you look at the notes and you say the tas and tap your foot. So let's do that together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. And notice I didn't say them as slurs. I just said tas. Here's the foot cam. You get to see my foot tapping. All right, here you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ta, 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 ta. So it's super important. You want to make sure that you can tap your foot and say it, okay? And if you can say it, then you'll be able to play it. But if you can't say it, no way you're going to be able to play it, right? So you have to be able to say it just like we just did there and practice it. Pause the video if you need to and just practice it a couple times. All right, now, the next step is to do the same exact thing, except you're going to play it on your instrument, but you're only going to play it on one note. So for right now, I'm just going to pretend that all of those notes are E flats. Even though I know they're not all E flats, I'm going to play what I just said with the tas, except I'm going to play it on my baritone horn, right, on E flat. You could pick whatever note you want. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. All right, so now that I got that, and again, if you need to pause the video, practice that, but the idea is you want to make sure your foot is tapping just like you said it. You want to be able to play it and say it. Play it and tap it. All right, now the next step is to figure out what the notes are in those two measures. We're just focused on the first two measures right now. All right, so if you don't know those notes right off the bat, what I want you to do is pause the video and look backwards a few pages so that you can figure out what those notes are, okay? And then come back. Okay, so you should have figured out that it's going to be E flat, D, E flat, D, E flat, right? And notice that I said E flat, and I had my first finger down, and when I said D, I did that. Okay, same idea. You want to do that. You want to make sure you say your notes and get those fingers in place and tap your foot. E flat, D, E flat, D, E flat. And you may have a little trouble with it at first. Again, pause the video, take your time. And by the way, with any of this stuff, you're not necessarily going to get it just right the first day. It may take a few days. But if you keep at it over the course of the week, you should be able to be pretty successful by the end of the week. All right, now that we've done that and you've practiced that, next step is to play the actual notes, but we're still not going to slur. Okay, here goes. 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, and by the way, just in case, I want to make sure you're saying you want to those notes, right? Always important to tongue. Now here's the thing that's going to happen though, is now we're going to actually slur those notes. And so what that means, we're only going to ta the first note of a slur group, and we're going to let our finger change, make the rhythm by changing to the other note at the correct moment. All right, so, all right, let's try it with the slurs. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just tongued the first E flat and I slurred to the D, and then I tongued the first E flat, slurred to D, and slurred back to E flat. Really important that you don't let the slurs mess with the rhythm. The notes still have to go right on the beats that they're supposed to be on, just as you did it when you didn't slur. Okay? I'll let you figure out the rest of it. Have fun.